Hello, hi, Segun here from Be Inspired, Be Sure, and just concluded the Lagos State Access Bank Marathon on the 10th of April, and I'm here to share my experiences as to what happened on the day, before, during, and after, and trust me, it was quite an eventful day, and the experience, good or bad, I will gladly share with you. Don't forget to subscribe on my channel, hit the like button, and share as much as you can with your friends and family so that you can all support me. Like I always say, I'm a running enthusiast, and my dream is to run in every single continent of the world, running marathons and running races all over the globe. So that's what I've been doing, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm just getting started. Okay, so first of all, I would like to say a big thank you, a great appreciation to Nilayo Sports, the organizers of the Lagos State Access Bank Marathon, for the access they gave to me, for the opportunity they allowed us to, give us the opportunity to do the videos, do the live vlogging, live recording on the day. So I will, first of all, appreciate what they've done and thank them for that. Secondly, they also assisted me in two of my friends, or two of my fellow running friends that I met while I was in Egypt. They assisted them in the, for them to get their visas to come over to the country for the race. Unfortunately, one had some complications with his visa, and he couldn't make it for the race. But the other one, the guy from Libya, was able to come around, and he also joined in the race. Yeah, so 2 days before the race, I was supposed to do a video just to tell you what I'm supposed to eat, or the kind of nutrition I was supposed to have. But we had a lot of issues with my friend that was supposed to come from Poland. So he actually made it to the country, but because of his visa documentation was not complete, so he had to go back. So we spent the whole day trying to see if there was a solution. And like I said, big ups to the organizers. They tried as much as they could, but unfortunately the guy had to go back. So that didn't work. So we were so busy that day, couldn't have any time. Okay, so let me start by saying everything that was supposed to go right for me personally ended up going bad. So before I start, I should tell you that I did not meet my target of 4 hours, 30 minutes, which was what I planned or intended to finish the race with. It just could not, it was not humanly possible for me to achieve that. And it was for a variety of reasons, which I will go into in a bit. So first problem started a day before the race. Now, the lesson that I will say I learned is, do not change what you are used to 24 hours to a race day. So I was in a conversation with my friend that came to run. Now, he was of the opinion, because normally if you want to run a marathon, we do what is called carb loading. Now, carb loading means you eat as much carbohydrates depending on what your body can take, so that you can have enough energy and glucose in your system, on glycogen, to run the full 42 kilometers. Now, what works for Mr. A apparently does not work for Mr. B, so I took on this advice from him. He said, no, just eat. Meanwhile, the day before, I think the day before I already eaten a lot of carbs. On the morning, 24 hours of the race, in the morning, I ate heavy carbs. I ate again in the afternoon. So me and him got talking in the evening. I said, are you going to have dinner? I said, look, I'm full. He said, no, take something else. I'm like, I'm full. No, just take something else. Okay. But trust me, that was the first time I ate, I've not eaten 3 consecutive meals in a long time. So for some reason, I listened to his advice, which, like I said, works for him, because we have different body type, we have different we have different age, different experience. He's been running for over 5 to 6 years, and he has experience of running different marathons. So I ate in the morning. I took yam, In the afternoon, I took rice with lots of protein, chicken. Around 9 o'clock or 9:30, I think I ate toast bread. And I have never, that was the first time I decided to just binge on carbs, sort of. Unfortunately, or let me say apparently, my body system did not absorb enough, or the food did not digest enough. So this is what happened the next day. Now, on race day, like I said, the problem started the day before. And on race day, first of all, the people that are supposed to, the guy recording this video was supposed to come in. He came in late. I was the opinion that the race was starting at 6:30. Sorry, at 6 o'clock. So, because the last two editions of Lagos Marathon started at 6 o'clock. So I had the mindset that it was going to start at 6 o'clock. So I woke up very early, did my normal stretching. I used the toilet, but I realized that my tummy was still a bit bulging. I felt a bit of like food was still sitting down somewhere. I was like, okay. When I start running, I think thing will, So I got ready, went to pick up my friend in his hotel, and we took a taxi and went to the race venue. And we got there very early, like an hour and a half or so before the race even started at all. So, and that was the first problem. I was feeling very uncomfortable, but I just thought when I hit the road, I'll be fine. Normally, this is how I roll when I want to run my races. I always have my phone in here, and I always listen to music. I have AirPods on or headphones. I listen to music and I move. For some funny reason that morning, I just opened my phone and my music app that I've used for all my races did not work. It actually just said it's no longer available. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, 15 minutes to the race. I now quickly went to the app store on my phone, just downloaded one random music app so I can listen to music, because I was the hysteria just started immediately, like, oh my God, I'm not going to listen to music when I'm running. So I now downloaded one app that I had not checked, which later came to bite me. I'll let you know. I downloaded it on my phone and I now started listening to the music. Then, of course, I used 2 different running apps to monitor my running speed and pace and everything. I used Strava, I used Nike Run. So they were all on my phone at the starting point. Now, another thing is this. Yes, the organizers said the race was going to start at 6:30, but we are in April. The heat that, when you wake up in the morning, it's already like 29, 30 degrees. By the time it's 10 o'clock, it has gone up to like 33, 34. In fact, on that race day, I think it went up to about 39 degrees. It was that hot. So we started the race at 6:30, which in my opinion, I'll come back to that when I'm talking about the issues with the organization, but I felt the race should have started earlier, which I think the organizers have acknowledged, and I'm sure they'll do something about it in future races. So we started the race at 6:30. Yeah, I was going comfortably well. With a normal race, normal 42K, you go slow, because the elite runners had, of course, they dashed in the front, and I just kept it going slow and steady. I was going probably about 650, 640, 45 minutes per kilometer, which was fine. I was going steady on Obanikoro, towards Alaka, moving up towards Anthony. Everything was fine. Although, like I said, I could feel my tummy a bit full, but at that point in time, my guess is the food that I was able to digest the day before was already in my bloodstream, so that was giving me the kind of the glucose and the energy and the glycogen stores that I needed to run. So everything was kind of smooth. The race was going as planned, because I planned how I was supposed to run, so everything was going kind of steadily at that time. So gradually going towards the Third Mainland Bridge, and I think the distance between before we got off the Third Milan Bridge to branch towards Dolphin, I think was about the stretch of the Third Milan Bridge was about 11, 12 kilometers. I was fine, I was going steadily, reduced my pace a bit. Sometimes I would stop and take water, then keep moving. Now, normally for a runner, once you've run 2 hours, because by then I had done about 2 hours, 10 minutes. Everything that is in your bloodstream, your glycogen stores, your energies, everything that is there is already being used up. So your body starts to look for where to get energy from. And it starts to tap into, first of all, the body taps into what is in the stomach, quickly find a way to digest it and convert it to energy, or it starts tapping into your muscles or your fatty acids, or just to see where they can tap the energy for you to keep going, since your body is still in motion. Apparently, like I said before, the tummy was filled up. It was like, I felt like I was 5 months pregnant, to be honest. Now, I think what happened was, my system was trying to digest the food quickly, but it wasn't working. Now, at that point in time, I'm talking about 24, 22, 23, 24 kilometers. So it wasn't working. So I was constipating already at 24K. I was already slowing down. My tummy was aching slightly, and I was slowing down. So, and I realized that this is not working for me. This thing I did the day before was totally wrong. I shouldn't have done it. So, problem number 4. Then, problem number 6, I think. Is it 5 or 6? As I got to 26 kilometers, music just stopped in my ear. And don't forget, I had an app, 2 apps actually running, so that they were telling me my time, my pace, how far I was running and everything, how far I'd covered. So when the music stopped, I was like, what's happening? Let me check my phone. And I just took out my phone, I realized the battery had died completely. That just took me off. And that was the first time I've ever ran, and I won't be able to monitor my running pace, everything. I was able to lose the music. So that really just destabilized my rhythm, affected my flow of the race. So, and I didn't use the phone after that again. So that was, for me, the lesson I've learned from that, because normally I used to have a fitness watch, but for some reason, I have not replaced the one I used to use before. So I relied heavily on the phone to give me all the information I needed for my run. So that was a bitter pill to swallow. And this is actually the first race that I cannot categorically give you a finishing time. I had to estimate my finishing time. Yeah, the 6th problem was the heat. The unbearable sun. It was so hot. I think humidity was about 80%. And at that time, you could see fellow runners that were not as, I wouldn't say fit, but because everybody, there are different levels of runners. People of my own level or people in my own category, we just started walking more, running less, walking more, running less, because I was virtually pouring water on my face, or my body, maybe every 1 kilometer. Because as you pour the water on your body, by the time you run for about 4 or 5 minutes, it has dried up. Every single, I was soaked, but just run 3-4 minutes, everything had dried up. It was that hot. In fact, I later learned that some of the elite runners that were running for, those who are professionals, they actually run for a living, sort of. Some of them that they couldn't keep up their pace because of the intensity of the heat actually dropped out of the race, And also, because the Lagos Marathon was an Olympic qualifier, I don't think anybody made that qualifying time. It was that shows you how hot it was that day. It was incredibly hot, So that really affected me a lot. So about me, these were the shortcomings. Some of it were avoidable. Some of it I should have known better, but some of it I would say it's a learning curve. I always say, and I've always said, I'm not a pro. I'm not a qualified nutritionist or a sports athlete. I'm just a regular guy that runs. So a lot of things happen and you learn and you gain more experience. So for me, these were the critical things that really affected my runs. Like I said, some of them were avoidable, and that was that. Yeah, as regards with the organization of the event itself, I would say, then again, my own personal opinion, my own observation, my own thoughts. It could be better. It could be more structured, and the information that was given out was a bit mixed. For example, yes, was on the website. Race starts at 6:30 and all. I think the event organizers mentioned it, but from a standpoint of a racer and looking at the weather in this country and the time of the event, 6:30 was just too late to start that run. So that was a major problem. So I think they should do better next time. The traffic was opened quite early. I think by 11:15, cars were already on the road. And for me, another thing I think the organizers can do better is organize this race on a Sunday. Most races that I have done, I've been to, are done on a Sunday. Most Muslim countries, some of them do their races on a Friday. They might have their reasons for doing on a Saturday, but I just think traffic is like that on a Sunday. If it's well advertised ahead of time, people can make alternative arrangements to go to places of worship and all. And if that is done, you have less traffic on the road. You can manage it properly, and you can even get more people to run the race, because a lot of people have Sundays off. And also, a few things, because in the issue of mixed information, like I said, the way information was passed across to potential runners, I think I was told afterwards that the cutoff time was actually 3 to 4 hours. Well, if I had known personally, like I said before, I probably wouldn't have taken part, because I can't finish a marathon in 3.5 hours or 4 hours, But my own personal opinion is I think the organizers place too much emphasis on the elite runners. And it's supposed to be a race for all, even though it's just 300 people that were approved to run. So elite runners will always finish ahead of the regular, even the people that are in running clubs. So going forward, if we want to make our Lagos State Access Bank Marathon a bigger and more welcoming event, these things need to be looked at properly, so that you have people that will run, and you get more people to come on board. Because I am a Nigerian, I live in Nigeria, but I've gone out of this country to run other races in other countries, and I see how professional, how organized, where things are done in a proper manner, and I also want that to happen. Something I also want to mention, which I think is important: the last 2 editions that I ran for the Lagos Marathon, the results were never published online for all the runners. And I feel we have gotten, this is 2021, going to 2022. The next Lagos State Marathon, I challenge the organizers to immediately, after 24 to 48 hours after the race, you should be able to go online, click and check your race time. Because there's mat time, there's gun time. Gun time is when they sound the gun for people to start running. But when your running shoe hits the mat, is the mat time. And when your shoe hits the mat at the end, is your finish time. So this helps, because we go outside, we run in other places, and we see how things are done. Once you are done, within 2 days or 1 day, you've seen your results. The lessons learned, key takeaways from the race. First things first, what is good for somebody else might not be good for you. So the advice is stick to what you know. I did that flatly wrong. I made a big mistake. The funny thing about that run? That was, despite the fact that, after running 42K, you should be tired, you'll be hungry. I finished the race. I could not eat. I was not hungry. I just kept on taking fluids. I did not eat any solids, and no meal. I didn't take any meal until 1 o'clock the next day. Just to let you know how much food had to be digested. Even after running, I'm burning about 4,000 calories. So basically, the take home is, even though they say carb load, or eat before the next morning, you must know your threshold. Next lesson that I learned, which I probably won't do the mistake again. I think no matter what happens, I must always wear my fitness watch, because the fitness watch will be like the backup in case your phone goes off. The fitness watch will monitor your heart rate, monitor your pace, monitor how far you have gone, and it also helps. So that is going to be a gold standard for me going forward. Now, did I finish the race? Yes. Did I finish at a good time? No. What is my finishing time? Maybe based on estimated time, based on the people that I know, that I follow on Strava, on the running app, that they finished after me, I estimated that I finished that race between 5 hours 35 to 5 hours 45. Good timing? Not really. Conditions were good? No. So the problems were multifold, like in different folds. So I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to blame the weather. I'm not going to blame the fact that I overate, but I learned a few things, which for me is good, and it will put me in good stead for the next race. So yes, I didn't meet my target. No regrets. It was a fantastic race. I finished it, and I didn't cut corners. I didn't jump on, because because they call them sweeper buses. The buses that if you can't finish your race, they will come beside you and tell you to enter the bus. I did not enter any of the buses. I rather, if I was getting too tired, I would just walk a bit, run a bit, walk a bit, and I kept on pouring water on my face, and I finished the race, which is the most important thing. So that makes me proud. That makes me very happy, and the journey continues. So stay tuned for the next race, which is not going to be too long from now, because the journey is just beginning. So I'm sure in the next week or so, I will come back and let you know where I'll be going next. Stay tuned.